BeastNet is brought to you by James Safety Services in partnership with OCR Buddy and OCR Strong. Here we discuss all things OCR and fitness related. Welcome to BeastNet.
Hey everybody, it's Mike with BeastNet. Today I've got with me Ed. Ed, kind of introduce yourself real quick, let everyone know who you are, and why we're talking.
Absolutely. Well, my name's Ed Leone. I'm the community outreach director for the nonprofit Frontline OCR Foundation, and we host an annual event called Frontline OCR. Our race directors, the people behind the scene who really make it happen, are Dana and Aaron Sabia from Race Ready Obstacles. So they are the boots on the ground, and I handle the nonprofit stuff, the registrations, and all the administrative aspects of the event. And that's who I am.
Right on. Well, it's good to have you on. We were talking beforehand. I mean, I believe we've talked before, so I know I've had you on. It's been a while.
It was the year before last.
Okay. So when I was still living in Washington then.
I think so. Yes, I think that does make sense.
Yeah. So yeah, because I live in Texas now.
Oh, I think you mentioned you were in the midst of moving to Texas.
Yeah, we were in the midst. It took a little bit. We got down here. I will tell you, OCR is much better down here. There's more of them. So
really,
yes.
How's the weather? Where in Texas are you living?
We're just north of Houston, and I mean, technically the town I live in is Conroe, Texas. But really the closest town to me is actually called Cut and Shoot.
Shoot.
Cut and Shoot. I keep hoping they'll change the city limits and move me into Cut and Shoot because that sounds so much better.
Cut and Shoot. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So where is Frontline located?
We're located in Byron, Illinois. With Byron, if you're from the Chicago area, you don't know where Byron is. So I like to say that we're near Rockford, which Byron is 20 minutes southwest of Rockford, Illinois, which is, I think, the third biggest city in Illinois.
Okay.
I think it goes Chicago, then Joliet, and I think Rockford.
Okay. All right. So, I've never been to Illinois, so
it is nice. It is nice. Right now we're breaking into spring, and the temperatures have been not freezing, which is fantastic. We had a 70-degree day on Monday. Today is like 35, 40 degrees, a little bit overcast. But Woodstock Willie, who is our prognosticator for the weather out of Woodstock, Illinois, said that we were going to have an early spring versus Punxsutawney Phil in Pennsylvania, who said we were not going to have an early spring. And Woodstock Willie is 60% more accurate.
That's good. I'd go with Woodstock Willie then.
Oh, hell yeah.
We have down in Texas, they have an armadillo, and the armadillo said that that spring was over. So, or spring was started, that it wasn't going to be winter any longer. So,
oh, what's his name?
I can't remember what his name is, but it's an armadillo somewhere down here. One of the cities does it.
I like him already.
Yeah.
He's optimistic.
So he's like, yeah, the winter's over. I'm like, we're in Texas. Winter lasts like 2 days. We had basically like a week really where it dropped down into like, and here if it gets into into the 30s, everyone loses their minds. It's like the world's ending.
I've heard that.
It's interesting, especially being from Washington, where like one of my coworkers one day I was talking about like, yeah, I used to drive to work in 2 feet of snow. They're like, how? Like you put the car in drive and you go? But like down here, like literally, it doesn't even have to snow. It just has to get into the 30s, and everyone's like, we're done.
Oh my gosh. So were you from DC or Washington State?
Washington State.
Washington State. Okay, so you're Northwest. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yep. So that's where I originally came from, and then we moved down here because, well, it's warm.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Don't blame me at all.
As you get older, especially like doing these kind of events, doing OCR and running and everything else, we beat up our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And as I've gotten older, I found out the cold hurts, and especially Washington State, it's not just cold, it's wet and cold.
Yes. Yes.
Which makes it so much worse. And down here, it's like, I'm good.
That sounds good. I mean, yeah, I would definitely like to be in a warmer climate that's consistently warmer than what we have in Chicago. But, that's for my retirement, perhaps. Yep. I'll consider that when I get to that point.
There you go. See, I work from home, so I have a remote job, so I can pretty much be wherever. So,
oh, you are lucky. Good for you.
It's nice, man. It is nice. In fact, I've been trying. One of my goals, and it's a weird goal. I want to run a 5K in every state.
Okay.
So, and that's not, it doesn't even have to be an official. It just has to be like a couple of them I've just bought like virtual medals. And when I'm in that
Hmm.
state, I'll go run a 5K,
Ah,
wherever. When we moved down here, I stopped in 6 different states over the weekend when we drove down and did six
hmm.
5Ks, 5K in every state because I'd never been there. And I just jumped out of the car pretty much at the park, ran a 5K, jumped back in the car and left.
That's awesome.
So
That's a way to do it.
to count those states. So it's nice with my job. I travel all over the place. Like I was just in South Dakota last week. Like, well, never been to South Dakota. Went and found a little lake and did a 5K running around this frozen lake. And said, there you go. There's my 5K in South Dakota. So, no.
That's awesome.
So, and I've never been to Illinois. So I might have to
Well,
see when is
May
front.
23rd.
May 23rd.
May 23rd. What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at my calendar and see if maybe if I have some points and I could fly up to Illinois.
Come on out. We have an airport near Byron. So when people fly in, whether it's like domestic or international, they either fly into Midway or O'Hare. However, there is, and I think it's an international airport, if I'm not mistaken, in Rockford. But I haven't had anyone locate a flight to get in there. So that's a 20-minute drive from the airport if you were to fly into Rockford.
See, my wife's really good at finding that because my company that I work for, a lot of places we go to are Air Force bases. So a
Okay.
lot of the airports that are close to Air Force bases are just little rinky dink. Like I think Montgomery, Alabama, I flew into there. They had a gate.
Okay.
When they were like, "Oh, go to the gate." It was the gate. There wasn't like gate one, two, it was the gate. You know, the guy who took our tickets was the same guy like directing the plane to park. And I'm like,
Yeah, he just
hmm,
moved from like booth to booth.
yeah, pretty much. He's like, take your
Damn.
ticket and then like, move to the next booth to help you, rent your car. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's
Well,
yeah.
well, come join us if you can the logistics work out for you. It's an awesome event. I mean, I we've been doing it for a while. And Race Ready every year changes it up. So there's always something different. We've added a ruck component as of last year. We tried it
Mhm.
out. It was successful. People really enjoyed it. And then this year we've added a 5K option too. So
I
there's your 5K opportunity.
I would have a question on the rock.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get the weight? Because that would
You
be the one thing like traveling for me. I mean, because I've thought about it. I really want it because I have a nice, the Go Ruck,
mhm.
bag, all that. But the biggest problem I have, it's like, I mean, trying to take, they look at you funny when you have a backpack with a bunch of weight in it when you get in
Yeah,
the airport.
yeah, absolutely. So I think I have a fix for you then. Like one of our sponsors, Frontline Athletic,
Hmm.
they are really big in the rucking and weight bag industry right now. And I think they're heavily involved. This is a friend of mine, so I know that they're heavily involved with the what is the high rocks and a couple other
Yep.
events where they've really partnered up and they've been going after it, which is fantastic. So he's going to be there. I think if you tell me you're going to be there, I will have a ruck for you available.
Okay. Now, let me talk to the wife and see if I can make that happen because that would be awesome. Because then I could get that. Plus, I can get a ruck in while I'm there. So, because
Hell
that's the other thing.
yeah.
I ruck. I try and ruck quite a bit too, um, just because it adds to it. I mean, I'm sure come April, I'll probably do I don't know if you've heard of the Freedom Ruck Club. Every April they do
Yes.
it. Yeah, I
Yes.
did
In
the hundred. I
fact,
did the 100 miles last year. So,
okay.
yeah.
I'm trying to coordinate with them to have some representation out at the event as well.
See, I
Because
even
I mean,
have
rucking has become, there you go, challenge coin.
Freedom Ruck Club with the challenge coin. So,
Nice. Nice. Good work. That was earned. That was well
oh,
earned.
yeah. Yeah. So it would be good to get them. I mean, that's one thing I really got into Go Rock before I left Washington. And then when I got down here, I found two different clubs in
Okay.
Houston. So I kind of bounced back and forth between the two on
Yeah.
who's got an event on the weekends. So
Well, we'd
yeah.
love to have you.
So I'm gonna have to look at that. So tell me a little bit about the what type of OCR is Frontline. It's one of the big things. I was actually just got to meet one of my coworkers, which is so weird working from like remotely. I never actually meet my coworkers in person. So one of my
Right.
coworkers was driving basically by my house. So we went and had coffee real quick. Because we'd never met. And we were talking about, just the different types of OCR, there's the mud runs, then there's the tough mudders and the Spartans and the not every OCR is the same. And that's what awesome makes the whole thing awesome.
Yeah, and we're pretty fortunate in the Midwest that we have a pretty good network of really good OCRs. I think what stands our OCR event out is that we're a nonprofit event.
Hmm.
We're mission oriented. Our mission is to get men and women who've served, whether law enforcement, first responders of any type, military, and get those individuals on the course because we believe that movement creates healing. And I
Yes.
think a lot of these individuals they get back from action and they're suffering some type of trauma, whether it's domestic work or overseas. And the common thread is it's really hard to connect and readjust yourself back to regular life when you've been living on the edge. And it's very hard to relate to people. But I think what anecdotally, and this is just my assumption, I could probably do a deep dive into it. I believe that the reason that these events are popular and help these individuals is because of the adrenaline, um, the socialization, mission orientation, and just that ability of getting out on the course. And I think by doing that and us connecting them with other pro-social groups that give them the support that they need, builds their success and their ability to heal and maybe bring someone else the next time. And we partner up this year. We're actually partnered up with Sheepdog Impact Assistance. Now they're a national group, and what I really like about them, they're very aligned with our mission because they cover sheepdogs. Sheepdog is anyone who served, whether it's first response or military. That is a sheepdog, and they have a cross-sectional membership of first responders, veterans, active. So these individuals are people who they're experiencing PTSD or physical trauma or a combination of both, and Sheepdog Impact Assistance provides programming for them for rehabilitation, reintegrating into the community and giving them the tools to be able to lead and bring other people into the fold. So we're really happy to be with them. We've always sponsored a lot of race entries for them, but we're providing more. So it's a partnership going both ways. We've worked with Oscar Mike, and we'll be supporting Oscar Mike because they bring a lot of athletes to our event as well. And we support our local law enforcement as well. And first responders, we provide race entries for them to come in and participate in the event. It's open to the public, so a lot of people think, well, do I have to be, former military or law enforcement? And the answer is no. You can be a regular person who's come out and participate in the event.
Yeah.
We are not an easy event. That's one thing for sure. We're distinctive in that we're extraordinarily challenging, and we make it
It's
so
good.
because we want to mimic the hardships that these men and women experience, whether it's carrying dead weight or body armor or certain obstacles that are designed to represent what these men and women are training for, what they might experience in a line of fire. So we replicate that intensity, and that builds a camaraderie. And that's I love sitting back in the festival area and listening to people, and it's a fly on the wall of their experience and newcomers. And the common thing we always hear is like, wow, this is way harder than a Spartan race. This is incredible. I'm going to come back. And they're just thrilled with themselves because every obstacle, every nook and cranny of our course is designed to challenge you. There's no shortcuts. There's no easy. Men and women carry the same amount of weight. They do the same hardships. We don't lower the bar for anyone.
That's awesome. That's amazing. 'Cause I'm actually this weekend I'm doing the Houston races with OM with Oscar Mike.
Oh, you are?
So
Okay.
yes, I've raced with Dealers of Hope, all them a few times, but they weren't coming to Houston this year, and I'm like, Oscar Mike was. I was like, hey, can I join you? I'm not ex-military. I wanted to be, but medical issues.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I support them 100%. So that's kind of like, I was like, hey, I'll run with Oscar Mike. I'll help you guys. I'll do whatever I want. I want to support, because
Absolutely.
people, I think people don't realize how much even people that come home whole from, and those who can't
Mm-hmm.
see the video, I question mark that whole or that question
Yeah.
mark quotation marks whole from military active duty, even, policemen, firemen, everything else. They still have those invisible scars. They still have that
Yeah.
mental, they still have everything else. My dad was ex-Navy and he was a volunteer firefighter for years. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he always told me a story, right? The reason he quit one day, I'm done. That's it. I'm out. It was a car accident. There was a car accident. There was a toddler that had died and he said he just kept seeing my niece's face every time he
Yeah.
looked at her, and it just that was the final thing. He's like, I've seen, unfortunately, bodies all the time being a volunteer firefighter, and seeing all that
Hmm.
stuff. But he's like, that one was just that was my straw. That was it.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah. And that
And that
I,
was
I
his.
I totally get it. I did that's why I left the industry as well. Over time, these micro traumas
Hmm.
build up and you get oversaturated and you get to the point where it's no longer healthy for you.
No.
So I had to retire. I served 22 years and in law enforcement, and that was enough. That it was like I'm unscathed physically, but you can't unsee some of the things that you see and you
Yeah.
experience. So that was my motivation, one of my motivators for with my partner who retired recently as well to start the brand is that we wanted to, we would go to different races and they would have components of supporting them, but there was never one event that encompassed both aspects of the first response and military. And the funny thing is, as your dad, as a perfect example, he was military, then he went back into service, and that's what sheepdogs do. And that's what we
Hmm.
do. We go in, we serve because not because of the pay, but we do it because that's what we believe in, and that's a sacrifice that has to be made. And then you continue it out of work. So I right when I retired, I didn't want to do any more government work. I was done. I did a year and a half of civilian work doing real estate, and I realized I need to get back in. So I'm back in, and now I'm a sheepdog again, helping out, and and making a difference in the community, protecting people. So um, I understand where your father's coming from. So yeah, we appreciate his service. So again, that is what Frontline represents. It represents all the men and women who step up, toe the front line, and make it easy and make it possible for us to do these types of events. The freedoms that we enjoy come at a cost and a very high price, but that's why we're here.
Which is amazing. I mean, I love organizations like this that, from seeing that, what my dad went through mentally, with those things, and other people that I've known throughout my life that I've seen come back from service of some sort different because of the things that they've seen. And like you said, you can't unsee that,
Nope.
and there's those little, over time it builds up. And a lot of times when you see people that have been doing it for years, you think that they're unaffected, and it's like, no, they're affected. They've just gotten to a point that it's building up, and then eventually they just finally hit that crossing point where like, okay, I've been affected too much and I can't.
Yeah, you get
That's why,
oversaturated, and
you know,
that's just human nature. You can only see so much. You can only absorb so much.
and I saw
Um,
that a lot with my dad's friends that were in the fire department, where most of them even they hit a certain age where they either went like into command
mhm.
or they went out because they'd hit a point. It's like, I can't be in the field because I can't see this anymore.
Yeah,
I
it's
just, I can't see another one. I've seen too much, you know.
yep, absolutely. And and it for me, it always for my family when we get in situations, and not that I overreact, but when you see the things you see that you have a certain point of view, and people like don't understand that, and it's a luxury that I'm glad my family doesn't have. Um, but yeah, some people can't understand sometimes why we take certain positions or attitudes about situations that others may not even think about. But it's
Yeah.
things that torment you and are on your mind, and you're just tortured by it because you know the reality of what really people are capable of.
Yeah.
The evil that's out there, and the inevitable accidental things that occur as well.
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
it. You mentioned one organization, Dealers of Hope. We actually have donated several race entries to them, so I'm hoping that they'll sign up and get in there because we provided them the codes, and we want them out there.
I believe from things I've seen, because I'm in their group chat and stuff like that. So I believe they are talking about being out there. So
Oh, good.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
don't know
but you
how
wouldn't mind
many
nudging them.
I can.
We want to get our head count. That's the other thing about races is that I'm sure this is something that all races experience, but the later people sign up, it's more difficult for us because now we need to start committing. How many shirts do we have to get? How many medals
Yeah.
do we have to get? That is all, and I'm guilty of this because I signed up late for races as well. And having done this, shame on me, but it's just human nature. But
Oh,
yeah,
it is.
nudge them this way. Get them to sign
Well,
up. They're free.
what's funny is that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't realize why we couldn't get as many races up in Washington because we had multiple like other brands, like the smaller, like smaller, I say, but the medium sized brands that tried to come out to Washington, but they couldn't get enough signups. And then they're like, nope, never mind, we're not going to do it. We're not going to come out there
Yeah,
because there's not enough people. And we're like, yeah, but I bet if you waited a month, you'd have them because that's just the way that it is.
it's that is
Fortunately,
the worst part. The worst part is
that
the
gamble.
waiting and estimating. Yeah, so you commit to a certain amount, and those are fixed variables, and you
Yeah.
can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and I mean that's one thing why I love supporting. I mean that was one thing like me and Don, the other person on BeastNet, we long time ago. It's race local, try and race the locals. I
Yeah.
mean the big guys, they'll be around, but the local ones, those are the ones where you see. I've seen some of the coolest obstacles and stuff like that at small little, I say small, but the smaller brands because they can a lot of times like Frontline, you guys are in the same place. So
Mhm.
you can kind of, plan what kind of obstacles are going to be. You don't have to worry about moving it to the next venue or doing stuff like that. So
Correct.
it gives you a better, you can build better, in my mind at least, better, more ingenious, innovative obstacles.
Yeah. Well, Race Ready Obstacles does a fantastic job of every year they bring a new twist, a new plot line to it, and they're phenomenal. And they have so going back to what I initially said is that we're very fortunate that we have a hotbed of really good local races. You have Mythic Race out of Missouri, you have Abominable, which is out of Wisconsin. You have Midwest OCR, they're local as well at Illinois. You have Highlander Assault, they're local. War X out in Ohio. So there is quite a lot going on, and it's true what you said is that we have to bring to the public something different. We can't rely on people just magically showing up because we're X brand and people
Hmm.
are going to show up because of that. We have to really go out of our way to create things to make it an experience that people will value, that we don't take our patrons for granted. We really go the extra mile, literally the extra mile, to make it a great experience for these individuals. So, that's whatever we can do to get people out there and understand what we're up against, is fantastic. And this opportunity of speaking with you serves as one platform to get our voices out there, not just for Frontline, but for all the smaller local races
Yeah.
that are trying to make it. Because if people don't support us, we can't run these things. This isn't just a expensive hobby. We're trying to accomplish something.
Yeah. Which, and I mean, the thing is, too, is, I mean, as you mentioned, you're not just trying to accomplish making a bunch of money and doing whatever. You're giving a platform and an arena and somewhere for people, veterans, first responders, everything to go do this, and this kind of community and everything else is amazing.
Yeah,
Like you said, that's why
absolutely.
you see so many of them in this you know community because it's it helps.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. So yeah, the more individuals learn about us, even if they can't. So here's the great thing about it. Even if someone can't make it, we do have a program called Sponsor a Hero. So what we do is there's a link on our website when you go to the registration platform, at frontlineocr.com is our website. You can go there, and if you can't make it, we always tell people, hey, people always say we really enjoy your mission, we really believe in what you stand for, but we can't make the race. And it's like no problem, man. Just you can make a donation, you could pay it forward to someone. It's sort of like being the way we design the program is like, let's say, for instance, you're at a bar and you see a police officer or a veteran or someone in uniform, and you buy them a drink. And you tell the bartender, hey, give this guy, this gal a drink. It's on me. That's the same principle. It's like if you can't be there, you know what? Pay it forward and make a donation, and we'll get that individual. That's how we're able to provide these race entries, is through the program. So if people can't make the race, they're too far, whatever, logistics, family, we understand life happens. It's just
Oh,
how
yeah.
it is. But you can't support the cause. You can't support the mission. You can make a contribution that's going to help this individual get on the course and help them in their healing process, and in the process, say thank you for your service.
Which is awesome because I mean, I think they need to be thanked for their service a lot more. So
Hell yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely. 100%.
oh, yeah, it's like I said, it's. it's amazing that, the fact that we can do this and talk about this is because of the veterans and because of, first responders. They keep us,
Yep.
so we are free and be able to, do this kind of thing. So,
Yeah, agreed that they're the foundation of our freedom.
yes, they are. So you said it's May 23rd?
23rd, May
May
23rd.
23rd.
Hmm.
And that's in Illinois. I'll have to look at that.
Illinois. Yep.
So,
We got your ruck
and
ready. We got your ruck. If you can swing it and your wife says yes, come on out.
I'll have to see if I can do that. So, and like you said, different options on the races. Right? So there's the ruck option. You said there's a 5K, and there's that.
5K, we have the 10K, we have the elites. We have three levels of elite. We have the vested elite. So I think that's what separates us from everyone, is that we have a category of elite racers where they have to wear a weighted vest.
No.
So they're wearing plated body armor that's 16 to 20 pounds approximately, and they have to complete the course through mandatory completion. There is no time limit on it, so we've had people there for 3 hours at a time at an obstacle, attempting the obstacle with hands just bloody because they don't want to give up the vest. Because if you complete the race without quitting, you keep that as your trophy. You really earned that. And we have a couple obstacles that are notorious for taking vests away. We have one that's called Vest Collector, and that's appropriately named because when you get to Vest Collector, I think probably the most daunting imagery that I can illustrate for you is if you're coming up this hill and you've just gone through a gauntlet of our obstacles and you get to this obstacle and you see stacks upon stacks of weighted vests on the ground. That's intimidating because that is the pinnacle. If you can get past that one, you're most likely gonna keep that vest. But we get a lot of people there who spend hours trying over and over and over and over in tears, just trying not to quit. And that's great because that is real life
Hmm.
frontline stuff. You go until you can't go, until the mission's done.
And that's one thing I've had this argument. I guess argument is not a word, debate with people on the idea of mandatory completion. For me, I've always felt like as a competitor, if you're a competitive racer, mandatory completion is the way it should be. Um, because I've seen too many times, especially, with other races, brands, we won't say what names, but,
Mm-hmm.
where people knew they couldn't complete it, but they knew if they couldn't complete it, they just had to do 30 burpees. So they'd run
Yeah,
up, touch the obstacle, run over to the side, do their 30 burpees, and off they went.
yeah,
Now they've gotten rid of that. Now it's a loop. So, hey, if you're a fast runner, that is a huge help to you because hey, I'm not, for me, I'm more on the strong side, not on the fast side. But for
yeah,
people who are fast, you run up, touch the obstacle, go run your loop, and you're gone before someone can actually do the obstacle. And it's like,
yeah. You're gaming the system
yeah, you're
is
gaming the
what it is.
system. But if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to complete it, that changes it and makes it so that you have to be a more rounded athlete. You have to be strong to complete the obstacle, but you also have to be fast to be able to get to it. So, and that to me
absolutely.
has always been the because in real life, if I decide that the obstacle's too much, I can't just step off to the side and do 30 burpees and then move on.
Nope.
No, you do it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's we would love to have some of those racers who are trained to do the penalty loops or the burpees because that's where I want to test their metal. What are they made of? What are they really made of? Yeah, yeah, you look great in your spandex and your race, your expensive gear, but do you have what it takes to complete frontline with that vest on? If you have that and you can complete it, you are a legitimate OCR racer. If
Yeah.
you can't, then you know what, you're racing for money and they make the rules so that they can accommodate you. That's fine.
Mm.
That's someone else's brand, that's someone else's story. They can do that, but frontline really tests who you are and what you are. And it legitimately, I would stack those guys who can complete that vest with anyone top in the world, with some of these men and women who can finish that with that vest on.
Which
Then
is
we have
amazing.
now going back to the other heats, we have the endurance class, and those athletes are in crazy condition because they have a certain time limit and they have to complete mandatory. They have to do 2 laps in order to be podium contention, and they do it as many times as they can with mandatory completion as well. So that's the endurance heat. And then we have our heroes heat, which is reserved for first responders, veterans, military, and they can compete. Same thing, mandatory completion, but they have their own category, and we honor them as well. So
Okay.
those are our elites. And then the course is the same for everyone. The weights are the same for everyone. We don't, again, make minimal. We don't reduce the weight for the women because in real combat, real first respond type work, you don't get to choose a small opponent. So, or a less heavy object that you have to carry. You carry it to get the job done. And if you can't, you shouldn't be in the line of work.
No, it's funny because I used to have one of my race partners that I did races with all the time. She would get so mad when they'd be like, "Oh, the girls are over here." She's like, "You mean the lighter ones? I'm going over here and doing the heavier ones." And it would crack me up every time because she would get so mad when people would point out, "Oh, the ladies are over here," and she's like, "No, thank you."
Yeah. And that's good. I mean, that's great of her to have that integrity to to level up basically, as they
Hmm.
say. And that's what we do. Everyone has to level up at Frontline. There's no easy path, and we do
Yeah,
it on purpose.
which is awesome. It's one of those things that I've always compared like OCR racing to life. It teaches us to go at an obstacle and find a way. you know. But a lot of, like I said, these other OCRs, it's like, I can't, I'm going for my doctorate right now, and I can't just go to a teacher saying, hey, I don't want to do this kind of assignment, so I'm just going to do 30 burpees. Is that good?
Yeah,
It's not
yeah,
going to work.
exactly. I agree with you. I agree with you. And I've gone to the different races, and different races have different angles, and that's perfectly fine. But ours represents a certain
Mhm.
aspect of life, and we can't compromise or water it down and dummy it down for people because
Yeah.
that's life. And you said analogously, OCRs, I like them because they do represent life. They're challenges that you come up. Are you going to problem solve and learn from your mistakes and maybe fail that obstacle? You come back, you train, you know how to get better at it and then go after it again. Yes, we've had several athletes who failed on our course and come back and finish the course, and
Yeah.
sometimes even win it. So there's no shortcuts in life. You need to learn how to overcome obstacles, and that's what life is.
Yeah. It's like you said, you live and learn, basically, is as they say. I mean, it's for me, right now I've been focusing harder on like triathlons and stuff like that. And, first couple Ironmans I did not go well. But, I learned, okay, this is what I need to work on, this is what I need to fix. Now,
Yeah,
it's completely different. And it's the same thing with OCR, it's tough though doing both OCR and triathlon because triathlon and OCR are completely different things. Like
yeah. It's funny.
triathlon, you got to like lean down, but
Yeah.
every time I lean down, now it's like, oh, hey, you need to go lift this, heavy thing, and I'm like, I can't do that right now.
Let me ask you this because I just did my first was a sprint triathlon
Hmm.
in the summer. What was your hardest part of that of the three parts?
For me, it's always the swim. For me, it's the swim. Part of it is because I've never been a good swimmer. My
Hmm.
wife's always laughed. She's like, "You're a really good swimmer for about 20 feet." And that's it. And I'm like, and I told someone after I did my first sprint, I'm like, I need someone to teach me how to swim. And they're
Yeah,
like, you just did a sprint triathlon. You can't swim. I'm really good at not drowning, but I suck at swimming. And
yeah,
because they're two different things. Like when you're just swimming, you're just having fun. But when you're trying to go from like A to B, it's a whole nother animal. And that was the thing I had to learn how to do. And I found now the way I look at triathlons now, survive the swim, crush the bike, and then
yeah.
you can kind of like sail on the run. And for me, it was getting the right bike. My wife's mad. I have three bikes now, but so one sits on a trainer in my garage. And I put up a 120-inch like screen with a projector
Uh-huh.
hooked up to a Fire Stick so I can watch TV. I will get on the bike. I did it earlier today. I did like an hour and a half bike ride. I think like 16 miles on my trainer because I have a smart trainer that even puts the pressure on the tire to act like a hill, everything. But
Okay.
I'll get on that thing and pedal and just watch TV.
Really?
Yeah. So I was sitting on it earlier today in my garage watching TV for an hour and a half while I was pedaling away on the bike. So, and then I
Oh,
have another
wow.
one my other one, my expensive one is the one I'll use for triathlons and actually use outside.
I need to invest in one. So that was my first one over the summer, and it was like a last minute. One of the guys in my workout group um, couldn't do it anymore. So he offered it up. So I was like, you know what?
Sure, why not?
I've always thought about it. I jumped in. It was like 3 days before the race. I have a 20, almost 27-year-old bike. Maybe, and it's older because my son's 28. My bike's 30 years old. It's a Huffy Jackal. It weighs more than me. And it only had two speeds because I'd never maintained it. I just ride it casually.
Yeah.
Slow, I mean, easy and hard. Those are the only gears I had. So I had that going against me, and I hadn't swam in years. I almost died in that small amount of time of swimming. Like you said, I think I got in there, I looked around, and I'm like, oh, if that guy can do it, I can do this. So I got in there, and maybe not even 20 feet in, I realized, oh shit, I'm gonna die.
This is gonna
And
be
I,
bad.
yeah, I never, like in OCR, you can always like walk off the course,
Yep.
but if you're in the middle of a body of water, it's literally sink or swim.
Hmm.
And I felt like I was going to die. And I wanted to quit so badly, but I realized that if I quit, I was going to drown. So I just kept dog paddling and I just had to rest, and people are kicking you and they're bypassing you. And I couldn't, my shorts are falling off because I had an old pair of bathing suit that was the elastic wore out at that moment. So I'm swimming with one hand, trying to keep my trunks on. I can't see. My goggles are fogged up. I can't breathe. I made it across there, and then I got on the bike, and I was pedaling so hard. I was wasting so much energy because of the bike. And then I got to the run. I made up all my time. I made up more time in the run. But to your point, I will prepare more for the swimming. I will, I fixed my gears, by the way. So I now have 21 gears. So I'm going to keep the bike. I'm just going to put straps on the pedal so I can be more efficient. And then I will continue running. But I already signed up. The next day I signed up for it again.
And see, that's the thing is, but that's how like we look at things different than most people. Most people have been like, that sucked. I ain't doing it again.
Yeah.
You finished and you're like, okay, this one didn't go well. This didn't go well. I need to fix this, 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 and this. And you signed up right away. I mean, that's exactly what I did. I did the first one and then, but I was stupid. I actually did my first one and then signed up for an Ironman because I'm like, why not? But, which I will be honest, I DNF that Ironman. It did not go right, but it was my fault. Same thing. I borrowed a bike from a friend and I rode it once, never tested it, never nothing. And it got stuck in low gear. And
Oh,
it was a really hilly route, so I had to go uphill. So there was like multiple hills. I couldn't pedal because I couldn't get the gear down, so I had to get off
oh
the bike and
shit.
push.
Oh
But
no.
so it was like, okay, well that was a bad thing. So then I got my own bike, and then I ended up getting a second one. And I mean,
Mhm.
and the bike does make a difference.
Yeah.
I have an S Works that's I think the last time I had it in the shop, the guy said he would give me $5,000 for it, and I'm like,
Really?
I didn't pay that for it. I paid 1,000, but you know, but
Jeez.
it weighs, I think it's like 6 pounds.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's carbon fiber, like everything. I mean, it's it's nice,
Wow.
but I mean, and you can tell the difference. But
Yeah.
but it's still up to you. Like I just did the Waco Ironman, in November, and it was, I mean, that's a 1.2 mile swim.
That's not a joke.
No,
That's
and
that's
that's like
legit.
I did the first ones, and I'm like, okay, this is what I need to work on because the other thing, I have asthma, so if my breathing goes bad, I'm in trouble, and so
Hmm.
that's why I have to make sure with the swimming that I train and I can get to that point, and that's one of the things. Like the Waco Ironman is probably the best feeling I've had swimming. Like when I got out of the water, I felt great. Everything was awesome, and that was just practice, practice. So my next one is
Yeah.
I'm doing one sometime in May, hopefully not the 23rd,
Yeah,
but
not the 23rd.
but in May I'm doing one here in Houston. I'm doing a sprint and then an Olympic in June because next year I want to do a full. I want to do
Wow.
the
Dude,
Jacksonville,
that's
Florida
awesome.
full iron. But I need to drop some weight because yeah. I live
Good
in
for you.
Houston and they have good food.
Yeah, that sounds good to me too.
Yeah.
So, but that's awesome that you're doing that and you have that mentality, that's the frontline mentality.
And that's it. Like we said, you look at things differently, I think, when you do obstacle course races and you're part of this community because instead of looking at something like, oh, I can't do that because of this, it's like, when I first started doing triathlons, it's like, I'm a horrible swimmer. Instead of
Yeah.
thinking, okay, well, I guess I can't do this because I'm not a good swimmer, it's like, no, I need to figure out, okay, how can I become a better swimmer? Found a friend who was basically a coach and she said, hey, I'll go swimming with you. And she helped me learn a few things. And I'm like, okay, I'm not the best swimmer. You get an hour and 10 minutes to do the mile, 1.2 miles on an Ironman. And
Mhm.
my best time so far is an hour and two. So still under the hour and 10, but you know,
Yeah. Hey, that's progress.
and that's it. It's like I said, for me, survive the swim. The bike is where you make up all the time and then you go for the run.
All right.
So
I like that. I like that. I'm gonna make a t-shirt that says survive the swim.
yeah, survive the swim. That's all it is. So and that's been my mentality. I mean, I can't remember someone said it one time. They're like, survive the swim. I'm like, that's pretty much because the
Yeah,
swim's the least amount of time. If you're gonna make up time, the bike is usually the place to make up the time.
right. Yeah. Well, that makes perfect sense. And I appreciate your knowledge and experience because that's
Yeah,
gonna help me prepare for this
yeah,
upcoming event.
yeah. Let me know if you want to do more. I mean, it's yeah, it's addicting, just like OCR. Once you get in it, and then all of a sudden, it's like any of the Facebook groups you're in. Anytime you say there's a problem, they're like, you need a new bike. So that's the answer to everything in triathlon.
Yeah.
You're not running fast enough, need a new bike.
It's funny you say that because I was pedaling feverishly and there's a woman that was next to me and she was, she was working pretty good. And she's like, dude, the way you're working, if you had a better bike, you'd be winning this race. I'm
Yeah,
like, well, thanks.
you would be surprised the difference when I switched to the one between my two. I both were more um, specialized bikes, and doing the same route last year, I was trying to decide which one I was going to use on the Ironman.
Hmm.
And I did it with one of them, and I was averaging 14 to 15 miles an hour. And then the next day, I did the exact same route on the other bike, and I was averaging 17 to 18 miles an hour.
Oh, wow. Shit.
So it was just the difference. The only difference between the 2 days was the bike.
That's okay. There you go. The
It
bike
is,
survived the
but they
swim,
they
get a
get
better bike.
expensive. They get expensive.
I know. My wife wouldn't let me.
No,
So
no, because I
I've got to
think
struggle and toil with the one I have
yeah,
with new
I think the
gears.
one that I have, one of them my father-in-law found at a garage sale for $10.
Oh, nice.
And the other one I got from a buddy who he's right now he's training for a Deca. Like not as like Deca, not like a Deca is in 10 Ironmans in a row.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Like one each day for 10 days straight.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's yeah, mental. But but he's good. So I got it from him. He bought a new one and he's like, "Oh, do you want my old one? You can have it for $1,000." And I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen your bike. I'll take that for $1,000." Because when he bought it brand new, I think it was 12.
Holy smokes.
I think the new one he has was about 20.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Jeez.
it's like that's more than I spent on my first like 7 cars combined. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, when you're that serious, you're doing 10, then you need to invest in it because otherwise
yeah,
you're just wasting your time. So, and he's
yeah.
probably got it down to a science, right?
Oh yeah,
Training.
he does.
Yep. Well, there you
He
go.
does.
He's making an investment towards something he
He
really
is.
enjoys. And for me, I like the challenge of it and I just want to improve and survive the swim. So if I could do better on the swim, I'd be thrilled.
Survive the swim. The best thing is if you can find places. That's the hard part down here in Texas. They don't have like in Washington. You can go in any open water because there's nothing in it that'll kill you besides the cold.
Hmm.
Here, I mean, pretty much everything will kill you in the water. But in fact, there's videos. Someone posted a video of the Waco Ironman when we were swimming. Apparently, there was uh alligators in the
Oh,
water with us.
holy cow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm like, nobody stopped this. Like nobody stopped us. There's alligators in the water. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be going down there because I like the idea of the triathlon, but I like to be alive, being alive more.
Well, I'm sure they had. I'm hoping they had some way to protect us, but that might just
You
be.
just have to be the one not eating.
Yeah. It's like a bear. You don't have to be faster than the bear. You just have to be faster than the other guy.
Exactly. Exactly. I
Right on.
can appreciate that.
So back to what we were talking about, the front line.
Yeah.
Um, so May 23rd,
Hmm.
um, Illinois. What was the name of the town you said?
Byron.
Byron.
Let's
Byron,
just say
Illinois.
Rockford,
Rockford.
Illinois area.
Rockford, Illinois. Like the
Yes, sir.
Rockford Files.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm old. So
Me too. Me too. I remember that. I saw those on first runs.
yeah, I don't think I saw them on first runs, but yeah, I've seen them. In fact, my wife not too long ago, I think they were on Netflix or something, and she found them and started watching them again. I'm like, wow. But so Rockford, Illinois, May 23rd. We'll make sure to post a link to your website.
Yep, please. And we also have a promotional This year actually was interesting because this year we were not following the trend of providing discount codes, because what we did, we moved away from our pricing strategy changed. So we went with truth in pricing. So we didn't have a lot of extra fees as you're going out the door. So if it was $80, you paid $80. So we justified that by not providing discount codes, for people. So right now we're doing micro micro blasts of code. So it's a small window, but just enough so that it's not less than what someone paid earlier. So we're
Okay.
trying to keep it so, like, otherwise people will wait and just get the code. So get the early bird pricing. We had a lot of good signups early on. So we have to honor them by not letting people who waited have a code that's going to discount it even less than what the first people signed up for, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So we designed one that's exclusive until it's valid until this Sunday night. It expires at midnight. The code is BeastNet15, so it's a 15% discount. Again,
Yeah.
that's measured so that it's not less. You're not paying less than someone else that did earlier. So
Okay.
BeastNet15.
BSNAP 15. We got it. And that's the thing that, yeah, it gets me. I've had so many times I've signed up for a race and then like a week later they have like a discount and I'm like, really? I just
It,
paid 100, like 10 last week. Why does this guy get to do it for 90? You know.
yeah, exactly. And that's, we try not to wrestle with that. So that's how we're going to go this year and see how it goes. If it goes well, then you know what, we'll adopt it and we'll go forward. But we're doing the little micro blasts of codes here and there just to incentivize people to, hey, get this thing. You can get a little
Yep.
bit less on the upfront price, but get it done.
Right on. And I mean that's great. I mean that's the thing, like you said, live and learn, see if it works this time, but if it doesn't work, hey, try something new next year.
Exactly,
Nice.
exactly. So just like surviving the swim,
Yeah, survive the swim. That's
survive
all
the
you got to
swim.
do. I'm telling
I
you,
like that.
that's the mantra. I mean, it's one of those things that's, I just think of Dory, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
I like that. I'm going to get that on a shirt.
You should. That's awesome.
Even if
All
it
right.
doesn't apply for like OCRs, people understand the concept.
They will. They will. It's just, I mean, who knows? There's some of the OCRs. I've been in a couple of OCRs that had swims. So,
Yeah, that's true. If it rains, like for us, we don't necessarily make mud, and that's not our thing. But if it rains in Rockford, Byron area, it gets very muddy, and the water there are water crossings, and they get pretty pretty decent. Not
nice.
not that you're going to be in over your head, but it will get up to your chest, and then in colder water when you're not used to it, and you get in there, it's a little intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been in ones that had water crossing. I think the funnest one I ever did actually had shooting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like a decathlon?
Kind of. It was a really interesting one. It was in Oregon, and the company isn't around anymore just because the person who ran it, she moved to Canada, I believe. But it was three different sections. The first section was actually a shooting like competition type thing.
Hmm.
You had to shoot down range and hit something. I think it was like 60 yards. And you had like three shots to do it, and it wasn't with your gun; it was with one of theirs, and they had an instructor right there. The next one,
Hmm.
you actually had to do a door breach with a shotgun.
Wow.
And then there was a pistol where you had to walk sideways, like shooting the targets, and then switch hands and go back the other way. So,
Wow.
and
Can you
that was
imagine the
pretty cool.
liability on that?
Yeah, that was kind of the thing. I think it was a smaller event. I think there was maybe, I think 40 of us that were there. So it was a
Okay.
really small event. It was pretty fun. It was a blast. I was happy because I did the pistol because I'm ambidextrous. So the guy
Oh,
made
nice.
cracked up when I switched hands. He's like, "You shoot better left-handed." I'm like, "That's because I am left-handed." But But yeah, and then the second event was like kind of a CrossFit type thing. There was competitions like a keg lift, how many times you could like lift a keg over your head, in like
Hmm.
2 minutes, a couple other like heavy lifting like CrossFit type things, and then lastly it was an obstacle course.
Oh, wow.
So it was
That sounds fun.
it was a blast. But like I said, it was unfortunately they're not there anymore. But yeah, it was a blast. It was a yearly thing that they did down in Oregon.
Oh, wow.
They were all, and then there was three different races that she did. And one of them, like all of them, were in some way military based. They even had the junior ROTC came out and was our like the referees
Oh,
at
cool.
the obstacles. So it was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that is really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So Right on. So I'm gonna have to look into see if I can get down out there in May. So that would
We
be a
got your
blast.
ruck, man. So we got your ruck taken care of. So
Nice. That'll be good. Yeah, rucking's awesome, especially with the. So you said it's Frontline Athletics that does the rucking
Frontline
part.
Athletic is our sponsor.
I'll have to look into that. So
Absolutely.
do they have like rucking gear?
They do.
Ooh, I
That's
have
what
to look.
they were. They used to be. It was Frontline. It was funny because he was one of my brothers from F3. So he's like, hey, we all go by nicknames. He goes, hey, Hootie, I want to start this new company. Do you mind if we call it Frontline Athletic? And I'm like, why not? Yeah, so he would do our shirts. He would be our supplier for shirts. He sponsored the event last year because that was the inaugural ruck. So he was there and he had gear and it was sampling it for people. So yeah, if you tell me you were going to go there, I would have him set us up with a ruck that you could borrow and use for the event.
Yeah. Let me see what I can do, and I'll reach out to you. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. We'd love to have
Right
you.
on. Right on. All right. Is there anything else you want to say to the listeners before we?
No, well, listeners, we appreciate your support. And as we indicated, if you can't make it because logistics or family, whatever, we understand. Life happens. Support, pay it forward, sponsor a hero. FrontlineOCR.com. You hit the registration link, it'll take you right there. Again, BeastNet 15% discount until Sunday night. Then it's gone. Then we're going to move on. But we definitely want the word out there. Dealers of Hope, come on out there, guys. We've got your codes. Just come out and join us. You're going to have a great time. Oscar Mike's going to be there. Sheepdog Impact Assistance. It's going to be a great community of people who've served, protected, and they want to just keep contributing and healing so we can help them.
That'll be awesome. Can't wait to see it.
All right, brother. Well, thank you
All
very
right.
much for speaking with me and having me on
All
the
right.
show.
Anytime, and anytime you want to, talk about it again or promote, let me know. You're welcome anytime.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you, Ed.
All right.
All right.
Have a good night, Mike. Nice
You
talking to
too.
you again.
See you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the BeastNet podcast. If you haven't done it yet, find us on Facebook, like and share the podcast. Give us a review on iTunes or Spotify. All these things will help to expand the show in the future. Don't forget to subscribe and let us know what you think and what you'd like to hear.